Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Jennifer's Tale, My Life as a Crossdresser. I am Jennifer and welcome to this new episode. For those of you watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoy this episode. If you are new to my podcast, first thing I would like to ask is please, right below where you see me, please subscribe to my channel. This is where you'll find all the new episodes, and if you subscribe, that way you'll know when they come out. You'll be the first one to find out, and you can watch it right then and there. This podcast, of course, is about my journey as a crossdresser. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I want to share my thoughts, my feelings, my experiences, all sorts of stuff about myself. I'm pretty much an open book, and the goal of this podcast is for other girls out there, whether you're a crossdresser or trans, or maybe you're a friend of a crossdresser or your significant other likes to wear women's clothes. I'm hoping that by hearing about my experiences and tips and tricks and thoughts and ideas, you will feel like you're not alone. A lot of girls out there, a lot of times feel like they're all by themselves in this great big world. It's hard to find other people. This is an easy way for you to have at least one friend out there that you can maybe relate to, or if you want to confide in or talk to me, I'll mention that later. But that's what this podcast is about. If you're listening to this as an audio podcast, whether you found this on iHeartRadio or iTunes or Spotify, or wherever you download your favorite podcast, all what I just said applies to you as well. This podcast is for you. If you are a crossdresser, if you are in the trans realm somewhere, this podcast may be beneficial to you, make you feel, like I said, like you're not alone, and we're all in this together. So with all that intro out of the way, let's get into this episode. Today's episode is entitled, Don't Embarrass Me. Now, I had to go back, once I came up with this title, I came up with it a while ago, and I had to go back and think about, what's this episode actually about? Why did I write down, Don't Embarrass Me? Well, as I started thinking about it, there's lots of cross-dressers out there who have significant others that they've told, shared their secret with and confided in them. Yes, I'm a cross-dresser. I enjoy wearing women's clothes. And one of the big concerns from a spouse or a girlfriend or whoever is they don't want to be embarrassed. It's cross-dressing, although it's more and more accepted nowadays, it's still a source of embarrassment both for the cross-dresser themselves if they go out and get read by somebody and a comment is made or whatever. It's embarrassing for that individual. But it also can be embarrassing for your spouse or for your significant other, because if you start going out as your femme self and somebody finds out, figures out who you are, and then talks to your spouse, your girlfriend, and says, "Hey, I saw Joe out the other day, but he wasn't Joe. He looked like Josephine." That's going to be something that could be embarrassing for your girlfriend or for your significant other. And that's one of their big concerns, is that's going to happen. Thinking back, way back in the day when I was still living at home, I was a college graduate and was living at home with my mom while I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. When I started dressing and going out as Jennifer, I made the stupid mistake of going out as Jennifer in my little hometown of 450 people, thinking that nobody's going to put two and two together, nobody's going to recognize me and think that I'm my male self just dressed up. And that's exactly what happened. There was an older lady who I ran into at the post office. I didn't think anything about it, but apparently she recognized me, or I looked close enough to my male self that she asked my mom about it the next time she saw her. And she wasn't the only one. There was another person as well who did that. And that caused my mom to confront me about my cross-dressing and be really upset about it. And now looking back on it, and also talking to my sister who had talked a lot with my mom or our mom about all sorts of different topics, whether it be gay people, LGBTQ stuff, which I never talked to my mom about, or how progressive my mom was considering how old she was, that kind of thing. I'm starting to think more and more that it wasn't so much the fact that my mom was ashamed that I like to dress up as Jennifer, But it was more about the fact of other people knew that I was dressing up as Jennifer, and it was a source of embarrassment for her. And your significant other probably feels the same way. If somebody sees you and puts two and two together, then they're going to have to answer these questions that they would probably rather not have answered. And not only your significant other, but, if you start coming out to your whole family, if you have kids, then those kids, if, they see you out in public and they figure out that you are actually, your kid's dad, then they might make fun of your kids. And you don't want that. Nobody wants to be made fun of. So there's a lot of things to think about when you come out, or what you're going to do after you come out and expressing you want to dress more. And everybody's situation is different. If you live in a town where you've lived your whole life and it's not that big of a town, then you might have an issue of dressing, or if you want to go out and do things, getting out of the house and having your neighbors see you and wonder who that individual is that they've never seen before. Who's this new woman living in this house where Jack and Linda are living? Who is this person? So there's things like that. And also, if you're in a smaller town and you've lived there forever, running into people that you might know. What are you going to do? How are you going to feel? What are you going to do? Are you just going to confront, not really confront, but just say hi to them, let things go and see what happens? You're going to try to hide away. I know when I was living in my little small town, I would sneak out of the house and dress in sweats and carry the remaining things I needed, like my heels, my wig, and things like that, in a bag, and put them in the car so that I could sneak out of my little town, go to a park somewhere and finish getting dressed in my car, and then go to a town far away, a half-hour drive away, so that way I would be far enough away, chances are I'm not going to run into somebody who I know. So that way I didn't have to worry about, in this case, my mom having somebody see me and kind of put two and two together. Where I'm living at now, the town I'm living in, it's a fairly good-sized town. Due to the fact that we've been living here for quite a while, but me and my wife, and we don't really have a lot of friends here. We're not really well known. We don't go out and we don't socialize a lot. It makes it kind of easier for me to go out. I'm not really worried about running into somebody who might see me and recognize me and go to my wife and say, hey, I saw so-and-so, but he was looking a little feminine. I'm not really worried about that. Could that happen? Yeah, there's a handful of people who know who I am, and not only that, but I'm feeling more and more comfortable as my femme self that I went to a local coffee shop where one of the people that works there knows me really well as my male self. I went there as my femme self. I came out to that person and shared, you helped me, here I am as my femme self, here's a picture, here's my male self. So you can put two and two together. Please, whatever you do, don't tell my wife. And, she was totally cool with it. She's like, your secret's safe with me. And it's now a place where I have somebody that I know that I can, go to and interact, and have a friend that I can chat with and be feminine and feel good about myself. So there is that, but at the same time, I had to preface it by saying, please don't tell my wife, because if Julie at the coffee shop, my wife goes and gets a coffee at the drive-thru and says, oh, I saw Jennifer the other day, and my wife goes, who's Jennifer? And then she goes, oops, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say anything, then I'm going to be a little bit trouble. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, especially since the few times I've interacted with Julie as my male self and Jennifer, she definitely distinguishes between the two, which is great. That means that she is a member of our community. She embraces our community, and she knows what to do as events warrant, I guess. So anyway, don't embarrass me. You don't want to do things that is going to be a source of embarrassment for your significant other or your family. So make sure you put some thought into that. Make sure if you're going to get dressed up and go out, you think about where you're going to go, who you might run into. Try sneaking out of the house. Go out, enjoy yourself, but make sure you do take precautions. I guess that's it. I would love to hear feedback from you. Please do me a favor. If you want to chat, if you're looking for a friend, like Toy Story, the song in Toy Story says, you have a friend in me. You can reach out, leave me a comment on this video. If you are listening and want to leave me a comment, you can go to my Facebook page, which for the podcast is Jennifer's Tale. My Life as a Crossdresser. Otherwise, you can find me on Facebook under Jennifer Hangartner, Hangartner. And lastly, you can send me an email. Just send an email to Jennifer's Tale Podcast, that's all one word, @gmail.com. And I answer every single email I get. So please, the more email, the busier you'll keep me and the more I'll be typing away. So until next time, this is Jennifer saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.